Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you some stuff about ChatGPT, how you can write a book, even though you can't really. But, and the reason I say that is because people are all over the internet saying that you can write a whole book with ChatGPT, and you kind of can, but not how you think. So of course it's text. You put in what you think you want, and then you're waiting for an answer from ChatGPT. So this is the main screen. If you haven't used it before, you log in, you create an account, which is free, and this screen basically tells you some examples of what you could write, capabilities, and limitations. So there's workarounds. So if I ask it, so one of the things I was taught was um, always start with as an expert. So you're saying you're recognizing it as an expert, so then it pulls out all the stops, kind of thing. And capitals don't matter, doesn't matter. As an expert. Okay, so I talk to myself while I work. So as an expert, can you help me write a book? Write a 5,000 word book on missing people. Now, so the typical short story is 5,000 words to 10,000 words typically, but a short story can be anything over 1,000 words. I mean, really, there's no written rule about anything. So it's whatever you can think of. Okay. So I've asked it to help me write a 5,000 word book on missing people. Let's see what it says. I know what it's going to say. So it's basically saying I'm a language model and I can't really write a book on that, but I can give you some guidelines, which is not a bad thing. So if you've always wanted to write the book about your family or about whatever, this is great. It can help you, give you guidelines to get to that place. But I actually want to write a book to show you that it's very, very possible, and some workarounds that I've found that work for me. So we'll just wait for it to finish, and it's always very polite. This is a very, very polite language model. Okay. So anyways, okay, so that didn't work. It kind of did. I mean, we got some great information that you could put towards any book that you want to write. So that's cool. But I want to write a book about a specific missing person, let's say. So as an expert, can you give me a chapter outline? Sorry, I'll try not to talk. Outline. I'm not a fast typer either, so bear with me. For a book out. So I'm going to give it some parameters. So it does well with parameters. If you ask it just this really big, vague question, it's going to give you what you just saw. So now I'm going to give it some parameters. So I want to do a book. I want chapter outlines for a book about a missing young man in his 20s. Let's see what it says. Ooh, I don't know what that was. Anyway, so now, oh, wait. So it's a little bit more forthcoming with the information. I don't know what that is. That's weird. So you'll see this. It's like you'll see later when you use Midjourney or any of those things, you'll ask for something and it'll all of a sudden be really weird. Something you'll get like a person with 3 eyes or a dog with 6 legs or something like that. So it's giving us this weird thing. But anyways, that's okay. So you're seeing it's giving you the chapter outline. Now remember it said it wouldn't help you write the book. So, and we didn't tell it how many chapters. So you can also do that. You can say, give me a 10 chapter book. In this case, it's giving us 7, which is fine. And we're just going to wait here. Okay. So now it's given us this, and this is great. You could use this for anything. Discuss the emotional. This is good for somebody that's writing an essay, somebody that's writing a book, anything. So this is not bad information. This is wonderful information. So, okay. So now now I want to say, so this is the thing that I found was great. It was like, oh my God. So as an expert, can you help me write chapter 1? I don't know why this does this. So I've asked it now, as an expert, can you help me write chapter 1? What does it say? Oh, sorry guys. It's helping me write chapter 1. So there's different ways to do it. So of course that's one way. So it's giving you it, but it's not really giving you it. But it's a great outline. Like you literally could, I mean, obviously you're not going to write every story the same. Like say you were writing consecutive missing persons cases. You're not going to do every single one all the same words because obviously you're not going to have a following because people are going to go, wow, this is a boring thing. All you've changed was the names. So what we want is an actual story. So we'll see we'll let it finish. Okay. So we actually want it to help us write an actual book. So I'm going to say, I am writing a book about a missing 20-year-old man. Can you give me ideas for a chapter outline? Or can you give me a chapter outline? We're going to say 8 chapter outline. Writing a book about a missing 20-year-old man. Can you give me an 8 chapter outline? Okay, so in this case, it's not giving me what I want because I'm not putting the right words. So I'm going to stop generating because it's not really giving me what I want. So I'm going to go back here because this is the one I was doing earlier, but there was a technical issue. So the thing is, where is it? So I was writing this thing, and so I was more exact. So I'm just going to borrow this and go back to this. So you can go back and forth. You can see all sorts of things. So, oops, come back here. Paste. So I am writing a book about a young man who went missing 5 years ago. As an expert, can you help me write my story? He disappeared without a trace. Can you give me a book outline, chapter by chapter? So now it's going to give me chapter by chapter. So you can see it's quite descriptive, and this would be good to use for any kind of book. It gives you the idea, right? Introduce it. It's the same way that you would do an essay, right? These are the things that you need to make this book complete. So it's quite good. It's still writing, but I think it's giving us it's giving us 8 chapters. It's this model learns, like this whole ChatGPT learns. So if you've asked it to do something before, it's going to say, hey, you asked me about 8. See up here, remember, if you remember, up here I said, can you write me an 8 chapter outline? I stopped it. When I asked it again, I went, oh, she asked for 8 chapters. So look here. And before it was giving 7. So, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back up here. So now, remember, it's not writing the book for us, or it said it couldn't write the book for us. But we're going to say, hey, as an expert, can you help me write? Oh my goodness. Help me write chapter 1. So here's a suggested draft for chapter 1. So it said it couldn't, but now it is. It's funny. When I did it before, it gave me a name. It made up a name, which is interesting. But you can see it's not a short name, but you can add whatever name you want. So if you're writing this as a true story, if this is a true story, then you could actually plug in somebody's actual name. And that would be quite cool. The one I did before, which I will go back and show you, was more, maybe they thought I was writing a short story. And so they actually gave me names, everything. It's weird because you'll ask it the same thing one time and it'll give you something completely different, but the same. It's weird. Anyways. Okay, so now I'm just going to flip over to another screen. And so go back to here. So I asked it, as an expert, can you help me write chapter 1? So let's go to what we just asked it and what we do. What did we ask it? We asked it, as an expert, can you help me write chapter 1? And here it gave me a thing, but it didn't give me names or anything. So we're going to write it. We're just going to ask it again, see what the difference is, if it's the same. So it's giving me another chapter. So I'm going to take you back here. And this was the original one I did before I had my tech difficulties. And so it had given me a 7-chapter outline, the disappearance, the investigation, all the things that you would do. And then I said, as an expert, can you help me write chapter 1? So it said, sure, the disappearance. It was a warm summer evening, the kind that promised. This is actually a book. Can you like this? You could see this. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the small town of Millville. It made up a city name. It gave the guy a name. It talked about his family. It's a whole chapter. So, and then I was talking about basically short story length. Sorry, guys. Short story length. And so a short story is typically between 5,000 and 10,000 words. And so, some people are really on those numbers, but a short story can be anything from 1,000 words or more up to, 10,000 basically. And so kids' books aren't going to be that long, maybe, right? So you could be saying, I want to write a book about a dog who goes missing and ends up on an adventure. Children's book. Oops. Oh, there we go. Book about a dog who goes missing and ends up on an adventure. Can you help me write it? Okay, so I've asked it to help me write it. I want to do this. It goes on an adventure, beginning, etc. So as you can see, it's quite detailed. I'm not sure how many chapters it's going to give me. 8 chapters. Okay, once again, earlier I had asked for 8 chapters. So now it's remembering. Every time I probably ask for a book, it's going to give me 8 chapters, which is okay. But you can tell it a different thing, right? You can be 4 chapters or whatever. So now I would like it to help me write chapter 1. As an expert, can you help me write chapter 1? Because remember, it said it wouldn't write the book for me. Okay, it is now writing the book. I'm not going to do the whole book, but you can see it's the workaround. So if you ask it to write a book, it won't do it because it's, I guess, a lot. But if you ask it for an outline, it's happy to give you an outline. If you ask for help writing the book or by chapter, it's more than happy to help. So that's a great workaround. So when you see videos when they say, oh yeah, it'll help you write a book, but they don't tell you that. They just say, oh, write a book for me. You can see what the answers are. So we'll just let it finish. But I'm literally, so I haven't timed this, but you can see how quick it is. Except for when you can't get on, because sometimes that does happen, but you have to just wait a little bit. But basically that first chapter is done. So I would just sit here and go, can you help me with chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5? Boom, you have a book. So what, I won't do all those chapters, but I'm going to say, as an expert, do you have a suggestion? Oh my god, I can't type today, people. For a book title. So you can see I didn't ask it for 8, but it gave me 8. And so now you could use these, you could use one of these, or you could make up your own. You know, a lot of times you start writing a book and you already know what you want to do, so you already have a name. But this just goes to show you, it could be about any topic. This is just happens to be about this particular thing, which, and don't copy it because it's mine. No, anyways, just joking. So anyway, so you can get it to help you write the book. Even if you have a general premise, I own a snake, his name is Sam. You could write a book about that. So you don't have to, like, I just made stuff up, right? So it could be about anything you want. You have a horse named Harry, whatever. So now, okay, so now I've got that. I've got the book title. I've got the chapters done. Okay, so how about, because this is a children's book, how about we ask it, our next step is going to go to Midjourney. So how about we ask it ideas for illustrations within the book? So as an expert, can you give me I'm asking it, can you give me illustration ideas for each chapter? Now, it may only give one because I only did one chapter, but it gave me the outline. So based on the outline, it might end up that it can give it. So it's giving me the chapter outline or ideas for illustrations based on the outline that it gave me. And we haven't even written the book yet. So you could see that this is, now it's going to take a bit of time to do all the steps, because the next step is you could actually do your own illustrations if you're so talented, or you can go to the next step, which is going to be, I used to use Dali, but I found it wasn't really too exact, and I use Midjourney. You get 25, basically 25 prompts, and then after that you got to pay. And I think that the cheapest is like $8 or something, $8 American. So, and I pay for more because I do a lot of different things. I do print on demand, I do books, I do coloring books, I do a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm actually trained as a graphic designer, so I can do a lot of that stuff all on my own. It just takes more time. So this has been a huge thing for graphic designers because they can make things quicker, basically. So, anyways, yeah. So it's giving me ideas um, for doing the illustrations, which is amazing. Let's go to. I'm going to just copy and paste this. So I'm going to copy. I'm going to go. You have to go into Midjourney. You have to sign up. You have to do all of those things, which doesn't take very long at all. First thing you're going to do is, I go into stealth anyways. So everything you start here is imagine, and then you get a prompt. So I'm going to take that simple statement, which was an idea for an illustration. So the only thing I'm going to add is Max the dog, happily playing with his family and friends in his neighborhood. That's all I'm going to put. I'm not putting any parameters. Oh, yeah, I'm not putting any parameters on anything. So we'll see what it gives us. Didn't say what kind of dog, didn't say anything. I just put that basic sentence. I added a dog. That's it. Now you have to be really careful, because even though Midjourney's amazing, like amazing, sometimes you have to look, because sometimes the dog has 6 legs, or it looks odd, or people have one eye. I mean, I think it depends on how busy it is, to be honest with you. Anyway, so let's see what we got. So it says it's all done, and this would look the same in the other groups. I just do it separately so nobody sees what I'm doing, except for you right now. Let's see. So how Midjourney works is basically you ask for whatever you're asking for, and then it gives you 4 options. So now you have the option to upscale these pictures, because this will be, I think it's about 1080, something like that. I can't remember. Actually. I have to get back to you on that. But the size of each of these is it's a small size. So then you can upscale, which gives you a better size for using whatever you want. And then if you like a certain picture, you can then, or you want a different version of the picture, you can then up version those. So you can see there's quite a few. So let's look. This dog has, because you want to have a dog that looks right. This kid looks weird, and this guy has a weird face. Like you can see his face isn't right. Their faces aren't great. They look really, really weirdly odd, right? So now this isn't bad here, this one, because like you can see their faces aren't right. So what I'm going to do, so anyway, so what you would do is but you can see it giving you options. So you can make it all cartoony. It's a kid's book, right? So this could be a cartoony. That looks a little weird, but I think the leg goes back there. So yeah, so it depends on if it gives you all the same. And then there's ways to do that. You have to Google that. But there's seed because you want the same dog, but if I go max the dog doing something else, hopefully you'll get the same options. But that's the thing. If you put the same prompt in 10 times, you're going to get 10 different things unless you use the seed, which is a whole nother video. And the seed basically says, this dog here, I like him. I want you to use him in every single picture. And that's how you do that. Anyways, you would go through and sit here and go, then you would upscale the picture you want, then you would save it. And then the next thing you would do, which I'm not going to show you right now, is then you would go to an upscaler. Some are free, some are paid. And then you would make it even bigger version so that when you go to print on demand, it's of a quality that, or a printer, however you do it, it's of a quality that would be good to use, because you want it to actually look good. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for checking my video out, and I'll have more in the future. So please like, share, and subscribe. And that's about it. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.